Hey, it's me, Vicki Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, my name's Vicki Marie. Just in case you're watching for the first time, I make videos, chat about crime, true crime, all over the world, but mainly in the UK, Australia, America, and Spain, which is where I'm based in mainland Spain. And recently, of course, we were following every day the trial of Erin Patterson, who was accused of killing her relatives with death cap mushrooms. And, Erin now, she's been found guilty. So now it's the fallout, isn't it? All the things that people couldn't say before while the trial was ongoing. Sorry, I'm just painting my nails because I didn't have time to paint my nails. Going for green today, verde. All the things that people couldn't say before, now they're saying. It's massive fallout now from the case. Things that we're finding out about Erin, things that we probably suspected because, if you've got any sort of intuition, really, Erin always came over as quite a dodgy character, didn't she? A sketchy character. All the lies that she told, lie after lie after lie, that I even, downloaded a button for a Pinocchio button so that I could play it every time that trying to design something where it's actually Erin's nose. That I think that might be a bit beyond my skills as making videos and clips and things, but you never know. I'll still, probably by the time I've worked out how to do it, people will have stopped talking about Erin. No, I have been, like Erin's face with the nose coming out that I could play whenever we're talking about any of her many lies, because that's what undid Erin. I think the amount of lies she told, and although the judge specifically said to the jury she's not on trial for being a liar, she's on just because she lied about some things. God, she lied about everything, didn't she? Doesn't mean that she's a murderer, which is true, of course, but it won't have helped, will it, when someone's on trial for anything, and then they're a proven liar, an admitted liar. It's not, Erin herself admitted all the lies she told. But then she said, but I'm not lying now, didn't she? And then she discredited credible people like Ian Wilkinson, the only survivor, apart from Erin, of course, of that horrible lunch. She even sort of cast aspersions on what he was saying as if he was lying. And what some of the victims, Don, Gail and Heather, who unfortunately died, things they'd said before they died, because they didn't die instantly. They had an agonizing death. I think, we cannot forget these victims and what they suffered. Just nice people, never did any harm to Erin whatsoever. All these people did was try and help Erin. And she murdered them, and not only murdered them, but in a very brutal way. Agonizing death. Sat there and watched them eat what she knew was going to kill them. And I think the crux of all this with Erin, and the more I look into it, is this hatred of Simon, her partner, her well, he's still her husband. They're not divorced, are they? And because at first when they split up, I mean, according to what people say, it was Erin who wanted to split up. It wasn't Simon. But of course, Erin wanted to split up. I know someone very similar to this. In fact, I've known a few people like this, women. But men do it too. She didn't want Simon, really, did she? She didn't really want the relationship with Simon. But she certainly didn't want anybody else to have him. She wanted to be the queen bee still in that family. She wanted to be in control. She's a total control freak. So when Simon sort of started to, Now, she exerted her control in a lot of ways, didn't she? And I think one of the big ways she exerted her control over Simon and his family was lending money. Because Erin, of course, she inherited all that money. She's got a lot of money. You know, she's a millionaire probably. I mean, maybe in assets rather than cash in the bank. But like a lot of people who've got a lot of money, she wanted more, didn't she? She wanted more. Some people are never happy, you know. I know that's where I've gone wrong in life, because money doesn't motivate me in that sense. You need money, obviously, to live. But, you know, I'm not interested in money for money's sake. You know, avarice, greed, as far as money. But some people, it doesn't matter how much money they've got, you know, how comfortable their life is. They want more money. You know, I mean, to me, money's to survive, to pay your bills, to get your food, to, yeah, maybe have, you know, buy nice things, go on holiday, maybe, you know. But if you had the money Erin had, you'd be happy with that. So, of course, she lent a lot of Simon's family money, you know, very generous. All seem very generous, but you know what? You know, beware of, what is it, that expression, beware of Greeks bearing gifts is probably a racist expression now, but beware of Erin's bearing gifts. You know, there's a motive behind it for Erin to be in control. And when she started that she felt losing control, when Simon put that he was separated on his tax return, when she didn't get invited to the birthday parties, you know, all those, small things, really. As far as Erin was concerned, they were big things. And that's when I think she started to think her life would be better without Simon Patterson in it. Because she would be in complete control there. You could just imagine it, couldn't it? If she would have been successful in killing Simon, because it's thought that she tried to kill him at least 3 times before, she would have stepped in. She's like the single mother then, the grieving widow, you know, comforting his parents. Oh, you could just imagine that, you know, Erin loves to, you know, it's that Munchausen's by proxy, isn't it? Getting attention, second-hand attention, by causing the situation in the first place. You know, people do it all the time, you know, in lesser ways. I mean, it's a bit dramatic to murder someone for attention, but people do it in small ways just in life, don't they? They create a situation, they create a drama, and then bask in that drama. You know, I remember a friend of mine telling me, who was she talking about? Oh, some relative of hers, her ex-partner's brother. Oh, he's fuming with my ex-partner because blah, 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 of something that happened. And so I said to her, well, how does he know that happened, or that he said that? How does he know? You know, how is he so angry? Because I don't know how he would even know that that was said. And she told him. So it's like, you tell someone something. So, you know, if I say to someone I know, oh, your brother's been saying terrible things about you, and then he starts going mad and everything, and I'm like basking in the attention, you know, the drama of it. Some people love drama. I personally hate drama. I've had enough drama in my life. I don't want any more drama. Just want a nice, quiet life. I've been through so much drama, and drama is not always a good thing. I'd rather have a boring life than all that drama. I think some people they revel in it, don't they? They love drama. So I think that's how Erin is, basically. And yeah, so she tried. That's what we're going to look at in this video, how she's tried to kill Simon several times already. That day really was about trying to kill Simon. But she just, because he was supposed to be there, wasn't he? But of course he didn't go. Now, you know, a lot of us, we've been thinking, why wasn't Simon aware of these attempts against his life, etc.? But he really wasn't, was he? Until this came up. He'll be aware now. He'll be looking back at lots of things now, won't he? But I think at the time when these attempts were made on his life, he didn't know the attempts had been made on his life. You know, and is he even safe even now, even though Erin's in prison? because Erin's got money. It doesn't, you know what? Some people, they'll do a hit for a couple of $1,000s. Erin will be mixing with people. Maybe she, I feel for Simon because I don't think he's safe. And you know what? I don't think he'll ever be safe from this woman because she will do whatever. And apparently, this is what we're going to talk about. Apparently, in prison, she's been saying that she will kill Simon. She hates him with a vengeance. Now, I don't know how true it is. We're just going to look at what's been said and, you can make your own mind up whether you think it's true or not. But it wouldn't surprise me. I don't think she's going to stop. If she gets a chance to kill Simon, she will kill him. She's got nothing to lose now as well. She's in prison. Well, she hasn't had her sentencing yet, but she's likely to be in prison for life. So what's going to stop her? What's going to stop her killing him or having him killed? This woman, I mean, she's a bad person, isn't she? Okay, so first of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone. Before we get going properly, I want to say hi to everybody and thanks all for watching, for subscribing, for liking, for being members. Why not become a member? Got our members live, exclusive members live tomorrow. Thursdays always is the members live. Thank you for those of you who've bought me a Ko-fi, sent super stickers, PayPal me, sent me emails. I'm very behind with my emails at the moment. I'm sorry about that, but that doesn't mean to say I don't enjoy reading them. I'm not doing very well at answering them at the moment, but I am ploughing my way through them. So thank you. So I'll take that banner off now. I'm going to put my like and subscribe. But yeah, the most important thing you can do for my channel is like the video, subscribe to the channel. Very important. Okay, so hi, lovely lurkers. Those of you who don't join in the chat, but you watch, hi to you. I hope you're all well today. Hi to loathsome lurkers even. Kisses for replay crew. And now I'm going to come into the chat and say hello to those of you that are brave enough to venture into the chat. But all of you, thank you so much for watching, contributing towards my channel in any positive way. And as I say, if you enjoy my channel, if you like watching, the best thing you can do is like the videos and subscribe. And that's free, of course. I know it's hard times at the moment. It's always hard times, really, isn't it? There's so many things to pay. So, if you're not in a financial position to support my channel, just like and subscribe. That's completely free. And share, of course. Thank you. Okay, let's see who's in the chat. Hi, sheep farming. I'm well, thank you. I haven't forgotten about you either, so I'll be in touch soon. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Daniel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hi, Lily. Hi, Lounslow. Hi, Jonathan. And hi, Dottie. So thank you for being here in the chat. Now then, so, woof. I mean, the thing is, it's really intriguing, these attempts, previous attempts on Simon's life, because remember the... Gosh, what have I done? I lost where I was then. Because don't forget, originally there were charges of attempted murder against Simon, and these were dropped just before the trial started. And I'm not sure the reasons for that. Maybe the police thought it would, or the prosecutors thought it would complicate matters. Maybe they thought they had, it was complicated enough, wasn't it? This trial, it was complicated enough. The 3 murders and the attempted murder of Ian. It was a long trial. It went on for months. The prosecution provided over 50 witnesses. There was a lot of technical information. So it probably, maybe it was better to do that. So it meant that the jury could just concentrate on these three charges, the three charges of the three charges of murder and the charge of attempted murder. And this, of course, was the defence guy, Colin Mandy. Had nothing to go with, really. We still don't know if they're going to appeal. I think they'd be crazy to appeal, to be honest, because I don't think it's going to get anywhere, and it just irritate people even more. This was Nanette Rogers, the prosecutor, Dr. Nanette Rogers. She did brilliantly, didn't she? Let's have a look. This is a beef Wellington, an example of what allegedly the death cap mushrooms were put in. We had a lot of information from Funky Tom. He gave us a lot of information about mushrooms. We had information about phone towers. We had information about how poisons work in the system. The doctors spoke, the nurses spoke. 50 witnesses that the defense called, and that the prosecution called. And this was the only witness that the defense called, Erin Patterson. Poor me. Oh no, everybody's misjudged me. I told all those lies. I'm a liar. I'm a serial liar. But I'm not lying now. Honest Indian, I'm not lying now. And this, of course, was the judge. That's me that's put the wig on him. He didn't wear a wig. Justice Beale. And the person, that I'm concerned with in this particular video is Erin's ex-husband. No, he's not her ex-husband, is he? They're estranged. They're not divorced. They're still married. We're going to concentrate on him today. And I don't think he's still safe even now. And I think this whole thing was about him. And inviting those poor people along, especially Heather and Ian, who she'd never invited for lunch before. That was the first time she'd ever invited them for lunch. It was all a ruse to get him there, wasn't it? To get Simon there. He was the main target, I think. And Erin, I've got a video coming up about these myths about Erin. There are 3 myths about Erin that I'm going to implode. 1, that she's intelligent. She's not intelligent. 2, that she's a good mother. She's not a good mother. 3, that she's a good cook. She's not a good cook. None of those things are true. So that's something I'm going to look at in another video. But as far as Simon's concerned, the father of her children, I think he was a real target. I think she brooded a real hatred towards him. And these poor people, they're almost like collateral damage. I mean, it's awful, isn't it? It's like as if she couldn't get to him. She'd get to him through his parents. Because Erin doesn't have any feelings for anybody else, not even her children, in my opinion. Because if she cared about her children, she wouldn't have tried to kill their father or killed their grandparents. This is Erin's true character, isn't it? Just, look at her face. This is, you can say, if looks could kill. If looks could kill, we'd all be dead right now, wouldn't we? Look at that face. That's Erin Patterson. Will the real Erin Patterson please stand up? So let's just have a look. First of all, let me just... hi, Skits. Let's have a look first of all at these, because at the time, of course, when it all sort of kicked off. So I think when these previous attacks against Simon have happened, he hasn't realised that it was Erin that did it. And it wasn't until now he's probably thinking, oh my God, because a lot of us were wondering, why did he not say to his parents, don't go to lunch with Erin? But, I don't know how she's definitely poisoned him before in some way, but how she did it, I don't know, whether it was with a lunch. You just don't know. Maybe she cooked him something, said, I've made you this, whatever. Just don't know. But let's have a look at the accusations that were originally made. Now, it says here, the mushroom cook's ex vanishes after arrest. So this was Simon at the eulogy. We have watched a bit of the eulogy that he made for his parents. And Simon looks genuinely so very upset. So the ex-husband of a woman accused of killing 3 people with a deadly mushroom meal hasn't been home since she was charged with making 4 attempts on his life. And when was this article? So this is an article from obviously a little while ago, 3rd of November 2023, just after Erin was arrested. His neighbour revealed that Simon Patterson hasn't returned to his house in several days as the community grapples with the bloody awful allegations. He's a nice guy. It's just bloody awful, the neighbour said, on the condition of anonymity. His ex-wife, Simon's ex-wife that is, Erin, has been charged with murder. So this was a couple of years ago, of course, after she cooked a mushroom meal that left 3 people dead and 1 person in hospital. So it says here she's alleged to have attempted to kill her ex-husband 4 times over 3 years. 4 times over 3 years. Now, one of those times was that last lunch when she was trying to get him to go, I think. 4 times. I wonder why they dropped those charges. I think it just was because they probably felt, that they had a good case and they didn't want to cloud the water. I wonder if those charges will re-emerge or not. Anyway, police allege it was her 4th attempt at killing her 48-year-old former partner, who pulled out of the lunch at the last minute. So remember, we heard about those text messages. She was fuming that he said he wasn't going to come, that he wouldn't feel comfortable. And she sort of tried to threaten him almost into coming, didn't she? It's like, she was saying to him, oh, well, I'll see, they're coming at 12, I hope to see you then. You could just imagine she would have been evil. I mean, she was evil anyway, but fuming that he decided that he wasn't coming. Absolutely fuming, because the plan was of getting them all there, getting him there. And the reason for inviting those people, especially Heather and Ian, who she'd never invited to lunch before. And also, she wasn't a person who cooked a lot of lunches. She wasn't a cook. That's the other myth, the fallacy about. She wasn't famous for her cooking. Do you know what I mean? She was more of a, order things off the internet type person, wasn't she? She wasn't a good cook. Beef Wellington's an intricate dish, isn't it? To make. Why beef Wellington? I think it was so she could hide the taste of the mushrooms. Look at her, she has got that evil face. She has. She looks like she does not give a monkeys about anything. And apart from that one time pretending to cry, she's never been seen. She never got emotional. Apparently she got a bit emotional in the trial when they were talking about her kids. But I think them kids have had a lucky escape, to be honest. So she was 49 at the time. She made a brief appearance in the Latrobe Valley Magistrates Court after a police raid at her home on Thursday led to charges in an alleged poisoning case. She's been charged with 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. So 4 counts against Simon and 1 against Ian, but they dropped the 4 against Simon. So charge sheets released to the media by Magistrate Tim Walsh indicate that the police allege Miss Patterson attempted to kill her ex-husband 4 times between 2021 and this year. And don't forget, at one point, he was in ICU. He was in intensive care, but he wouldn't have realised what it was. This hospital that diagnosed so quickly Erin's victims with that death cap mushroom poison, they deserve so much credit, because I bet, she, and no wonder she thought she'd get away with it, because she thought she's got away with it 3 times before, poisoning Simon, and nothing's happened. So, she was getting emboldened, wasn't she, by the fact she hadn't been found out before. So these attempts allegedly occurred between November the 16th and 17th, 2021, May the 25th and 27th, 2022, and on September the 9th last year. I mean, what happened? Did she give him something to eat? And the fourth alleged attempt is said to have occurred on July 29th, that's the fateful day, when his parents, aunt and her husband fell ill after eating a meal at her home. Mr. Patterson was expected to attend the lunch, which was hosted as part of a church mediation process for their relationship, but he pulled out at the last minute. And of course, now we know that Erin had told them that she wanted something to talk about her health. She told them she had cancer. She didn't know how, she told him a right load of rubbish, didn't she? So his parents, Gail and Don, both 70, and Aunt Heather, died at 66, died in hospital days after the poisoning. And her, Mrs. Wilkinson's husband, Ian, spent 7 weeks in hospital in a critical condition, and he had to have a transplant. Thank God he survived. So, on the the eulogy that he made at his parents' funeral, he said his parents were very much a team, working at life together. The fact they died on consecutive days is fitting in some ways, as it reflects the togetherness as a couple. They always worked so hard to grow. And Mum's final message in our group chat as she lay in Dandenong Hospital was lots of love to you all. Yeah. And this was the police taking stuff away from Erin's home. And of course, remember, one of the phones has still to this day never been found. Of course, then she claimed that she'd been ill, but actually, and in a statement to police, she wrote, "I'm now devastated to think that these mushrooms may have contributed to the illness suffered by my loved ones. I really want to repeat, I had absolutely no reason to hurt these people whom I loved." There's poor Heather. There's Ian. Now, at one point, Ian was on a Zimmer frame. He's not on a Zimmer frame now. He's very well recovered now. As he attended the trial, he was walking in without any help, carrying his coffees, etc. So, he has recovered. So, where's that? What? Don't know why it just jumped off there. But anyway, I finished what I was reading from that anyway. So, now it comes out. And as I say, there's probably going to be a lot of things come out that we won't know for certain if they're true or not. Because, of course, prisoners, fellow prisoners, are now saying things that Erin had said while she was in prison. Yeah, I think they did know in the end, Dottie, because even after when they first got ill, they were questioning the plates, weren't they? Why were the plates different? Hi, Jane. I think they did know, unfortunately, that they'd been poisoned, but then, of course, they were put into induced comas, and they won't have known anything else after that. Ian said he didn't know anything. He was given that charcoal drink that was supposed to help make him better. Then he was put into an induced coma, and he didn't remember anything else till he was, he was brought back. But of course, the other three, they couldn't be brought back, and Don was given a transplant, wasn't he? And unfortunately it was too late. It just didn't work. But of course he'd eaten more than the other people of the death cap mushrooms, because he had eaten his portion and he had finished off his wife Gail's portion. So Gail had only had half a portion of the beef Wellington, but she was so ill she couldn't even have a transplant because she was too ill. And Heather the same. That both the ladies were so poorly they couldn't be given a transplant because they would have died anyway. So, and I think it was Heather that they were saying, you know, the symptoms within a couple of days were just awful, you know, like their livers died. And Erin's defense was trying to say, because Erin was more weighty than they were, and because she'd made herself sick with eating those 3 portions of orange cake or whatever, that's why she wasn't as ill as them. And she had a little touch of diarrhea. We don't even know if she had that because, you know, that's what she said. You know, there's no real proper proof to say that she ever had an upset stomach at all. And yet the difference, you know, that was part of the reason as well, isn't it? Probably that she was found guilty, because it was such a massive difference between the symptoms of the other victims and how they, you know, declined so quickly and had to be put on in a coma and things like that. And Erin had a little touch of diarrhea, and in fact went on that big long trip to take her son to flying lesson or whatever that eventually was cancelled. Said she went to the toilet in the bush. She made a 9-second toilet stop. You know, all those things. You know, Erin's case, really, it's not one thing in particular. It's all that combination of all the different things that convicted Erin, you know, along with the lies and the fact that in the end the jury just couldn't believe anything she was saying. So, right, let's have a look at. So now, what's this person has come out now again? Thing is, when fellow prisoners come out, you know, with all due respect, we have to take things with a pinch of salt in a way. We don't know, are people just jumping on the bandwagon because it's Erin Patterson? It's, you know, one of the most talked about cases of the moment. Or are these genuine things that these, because there's all this talk, you know, that Erin has done something, somebody else's food while she's been in prison, somebody else who'd upset her. I don't know if it, and again, we don't know if it's true. The prison itself is saying, you know, no. But are they going to say it is? Because why would they put her in kitchen duty? You know, if that's true, that she was put in the kitchens, just seems ridiculous to me. Because even if she didn't try and hurt anybody, she's always going to get accused of it just because of the, you know, of what she's in there for. So it's just ludicrous to put her on prison duty, in kitchen duty. But let's listen to this. This was the video. Sorry, you have to. They're always out.
Hello, what address do you need the police? This is Dr. Chris Webster calling from Leongatha Hospital.
So this is this doctor who's gotten a lot of trouble for coming out and saying that he knew straight away that Erin was evil. This is the phone call he made to the police. So he was so concerned about Erin's welfare and that of her children because she wouldn't stay at the hospital.
You need the police. This is Dr. Chris Webster calling from Leongatha Hospital, and I have a concern regarding a patient that presented here earlier but has left the building and is potentially exposed to a fatal toxin from mushroom poisoning, and I've tried several times to get hold of her on her mobile phone.
So before I get all that information in, what address do you need the police to attend, Dr. Chris?
Yeah, so, well, should I give the hospital address or the address of the patient?
If you know where they are, their address.
I have the address of the patient.
Yeah, go ahead with that.
Okay. Street.
Is that in Leongatha?
Leongatha 3953.
Thank you. So 84 Gibson Street, Leongatha, Victoria. The nearest intersection is Worthy Street, is that correct?
Imagine the doctor being so concerned about her welfare, but she doesn't give a toss, not about her she goes home to put the lambs away or whatever and to make up her daughter's ballet bag and have her lie down. So the doctor is that worried about her. he, or concerned about the whole situation, he has to ring the police. I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Inconceivable. And she tried to say, of course, she didn't like hospitals. She felt uncomfortable in hospitals. And Simon backed her up with that. Her estranged husband backed her up with that. But then she was going to train to be a nurse and a midwife. So you don't do that if you feel uncomfortable in hospitals. You know, everything about Erin is so false. So false, such lies.
I'd have to get Google Maps up, but yes, I would say that sounds right. That sounds like a street in Leongatha. Yeah.
What's her name?
So the last name is Patterson, Patterson.
First name?
Erin, Erin.
Do you have a date of birth?
30th of September, 1974.
When did she present at hospital?
At 8:05
Today?
Yeah.
The 30th of September, what star sign is that? Let me just look up. It's either Virgo or Scorpio, I think. Scorpios are the more darker ones. Oh no, it's Libra. It's neither of those. I mean, I don't know, star signs. I'm sort of vaguely interested in star signs. I'm a Leo. I think I'm quite a typical sort of Leo. Libras, they're not supposed to be able to make their mind up about things, aren't they? I don't know if that, anyway, I don't know that it's got any relevance, just to give you a little bit of information. So she's a Libra, bless her. I don't mean, well, yeah, bless her. I don't care what, I don't care what, I don't wish her, she's in prison now and she'll be in prison for the rest of her life, hopefully. She'll get her own karma with the prison. I don't have to give it. It's not up to me to give her karma. She'll get it anyway, won't she? And then, when she passes into the next life, she'll have to, I hope she is an atheist for her sake, because she's going to start getting worried when she gets near the time of passing on. Because she, one minute she says she's a Christian, then she says she's an atheist. I don't think she's a Christian. I think she's an atheist. I don't think she believes in anything. And, well, she'll find out one day, won't she? So I hope for her sake she's right, but I don't think she is, personally.
Mushroom poisoning, you said?
Yeah, so there were 5 people that ate a meal on Saturday, and 2 of them are in intensive care at Dandenong Hospital. 2 have just been transferred from Leongatha Hospital to Dandenong Hospital, and Erin presented this morning with symptoms of poisoning.
Bear with me.
I bet that policeman was like, what? Because, it's so bizarre, isn't it? I mean, it won't be every day you're getting a phone call from a doctor concerned about someone who might have been poisoned by deadly mushrooms. It's like, the policeman must have been thinking, oh my God, what the hell's going on?
And what happened when she presented? She just got up and left?
No, there was time for the nurse to begin observations, and I was managing the other critically unwell patient, so I had a brief chat to her about where the mushrooms were obtained, and after that, while I was attending the other patients, the nurse informed me that she had discharged herself against medical advice. So I don't know exactly. Oh, we've got a form here. Hang on, let's tell me what time she left. No, it doesn't have a time. She left at. So she left at 10 past. She was only here for 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah. So she was only there for 5 minutes, wasn't she? And now this is the actual CCTV of her arguing with the nurse, being aggressive probably. I'm going. Yeah, the nurse trying to save her life, and she's like, no, I'm going, and that's it. She don't give a shit. She's not even listening to her. She's just pressing the door to go. Yeah, listen to me. I'm the one in the right. Listen to me. I'm the most important person in the universe. I am Erin Patterson. Don't you know who I am? God, imagine having to try to save someone's life and their kid's life, of course. So they get her to sign a discharge paper that she's leaving on her own responsibility, don't they? And off she goes to get her daughter's bally bag ready and put the lambs in and have a lie down. But really what she's doing probably is going off, disposing of evidence, arranging the scene, thinking quickly, because I just imagine she just couldn't believe it when they mentioned death cap mushrooms to her. Thing is, if she's got away with it 3 times before, she's going to think she's going to get away with it this time as well. But she wasn't as clever as the doctor was she? She wasn't as clever as the staff at this hospital. Good. So she signs her thing, off she goes, and then she doesn't answer the phone. When the doctor tries to contact her, she just blanks him. And that's why he has to phone the police, isn't it? So yeah, awful woman, really, truly awful, awful woman. Okay, so going back to the article, so let's see, this, according to this article, Erin Patterson's cell was number 29 inside the Murray unit at Melbourne's maximum security women's prison, and next to the mushroom cook killer at the Dame Phyllis Frost Centre on the city's northern fringe was headmistress rapist Mal Khalifa in cell 28. Now, I don't know about that case. That sounds like a nice woman, doesn't she? Samantha Azzopardi, the career con woman and child kidnapper, another nice girl, was in cell 32, and the notorious catfish stalker Lydia Abdul Malik was in cell 30. So she was in good company. So it was a who's who of some of Victoria's most notorious female criminals, but Patterson was amongst the most hated, according to an inmate who recently left the unit and spoke with News.com Australia on condition of anonymity. The inmate, who kept detailed diary notes about every incident and every personality behind bars, said Patterson was blamed for making a fellow prisoner so sick she was vomiting everywhere and had to be seen by the medical team. So we've heard this before, haven't we, that she was suspected for making someone ill because someone in their wisdom put her in the, where's the rest of the article? Someone in their wisdom put her in the kitchen, apparently. Oh, there it is, read more. So Patterson, who a jury this month found guilty of murdering 3 of her in-laws with a beef Wellington laced with death cap mushrooms, had to be moved to another unit after the incident. This is something I wrote in my notes, the former inmate said. I was talking with another inmate and I asked if I could borrow her mayonnaise, and she just laughed and joked about me poisoning it like Erin Patterson did. I was like, what the F? And she told me the story about how prison officers found mayonnaise in Erin's room that was allegedly used to poison one of the inmates. She went to medical and was vomiting everywhere. She was saying that the mushroom lady, that's what she'll be forever associated with, of course. The mushroom lady, you can't even, as soon as I look at a mushroom, I think of Erin. So they found chemistry books, allegedly. So again, what do you think? Do you think this is true? They found chemistry books with pages tagged, including sections on natural remedies. Oh, could you imagine Erin Patterson offering you a natural remedy for something? Oh my God. She's like She's like Lady Macbeth, isn't she? She's like the three witches, and she's a very Shakespearean character, I think, in general. She reminds me of Shakespeare, you know. Yeah. Well, hi, Katie. It's possible it is a load of rubbish. Of course it is, because these people, they're doing, you know, maybe they're getting paid for their stories. But anyway, but this is a few different, this isn't the first time I've seen this. You know, there's a few different people that have talked about this. Anyway, she was, so take it with what it's offered. It's just something I'm reading out that's been, now, you know, the mainstream media are supposed to check out their stories, aren't they? So I don't know. But the former inmate who spoke with News.com Australia has a theory about the alleged poisoning behind bars. She believes that Patterson wasn't responsible. Erin was moved to the Gordon unit while the investigation for poisoning took place. So, I mean, it'd be easy to set Erin up, wouldn't it, if you didn't like it, you know, because it'd be easy to, I suppose, you know, make it look like it was her. So the former inmate kept a diary note dated the 29th of July. In it, she writes that prison guards found 2 bottles of mayonnaise in Erin's clothes basket when they searched her room. But a Justice Department spokesperson said there is no evidence to support there has been any contaminated food or suspected poisonings at the Dame Phyllis Frost Centre, but the former inmate who spoke to News.com Australia said the incident 100% happened. So, I don't know. Mushroom Chef apparently was entitled and rude behind bars. I definitely believe that. And I have read that, other people have said that. The former inmate gave us some insight into where she fits in the pecking order. She says she's right down at the bottom. She is not climbed. She is hated and will need to be monitored by staff constantly. Nobody gives a shit about what she's done. They hate her because she's entitled, arrogant, demanding, and rude. The thing with Erin that I noticed when I lived with her is that she is super intelligent. She's not super intelligent. She likes to make people feel like they're dumb. She's manipulative. Yeah, she is. She's intelligent in a cunning way. You know, that she's good at manipulation. But as I think I've said before, Erin, if she was around other intelligent people, they wouldn't think she was intelligent. Do you know what I mean? I think Erin, she picks people to hang around with that she knows she can manipulate, and not because they're not intelligent. Like with Simon's family, it's not about intelligence. Some people are very trusting, you know, and other people are more cynical, perhaps, you know, and can see through someone like Erin. I mean, Erin will pick the person that's easiest to manipulate, because she's a narcissist, and that's what they do. You know, they either consciously or unconsciously pick people that will fall for their crap. You know, a lot of people, other narcissists, for example, they won't fall for her crap. Or people who are more aware because they've had dealings with people like Erin before. But Erin will gravitate towards people she can manipulate, won't she? So this is it, the maximum security prison north of Melbourne. She gets fixated on things and she doesn't see the mistakes she makes. She mimics and makes fun of people, looks down at people. She's exactly like Mal Khalifa. I don't know anything about Mal Khalifa. Hopefully they get a cell next to each other. That would be great to watch. And News.com Australia exclusively revealed earlier this year that Khalifa was being given perks in prison that no other inmate was getting. I mean, you know, things do happen. The 58-year-old who was in charge of the ultra-Orthodox Ades Israel school in Elstonwick when she sexually abused students in her care was jailed for 15 years in 2023. And a former inmate said, Malka has a microwave in her room, cooking equipment in her room, and she gets special orders every Thursday. Some things I can't even explain to you. If she wants something, she gets it. She wanted an air fryer, and she had members of the Jewish community to write to authorities about it. She gets whatever she wants. Now, do you think that's true? Do some people get special conditions in prison? Hi, David. And the former inmate said that Lifa has the ability to bake challah, which is a braided bread that the Jewish community eats for Shabbat, the Jewish Sabbath, which is observed every Saturday. And she said Patterson is very similar to Lifa. As I say, I know absolutely nothing about this girl, woman. Here she is, Malka Lifa, locked up at the Murray unit next to Erin. I might have a little look in a minute. And then this other one, Samantha Azzopardi, I don't know about her either. She's crazy smart, the former inmate said. The mother of two is said to spend time behind bars knitting for her kids. They love their knitting, don't they? Just wouldn't think they'd give them knitting needles, would you really? I mean, surely they could be used as a weapon. So during the Mushroom Cook Killers trial, the jury heard Patterson and her husband had separated in 2015, but spent much of the following years maintaining an amicable relationship, continuing to co-parent their two children, remaining friends, attending family events together and family holidays. But it was 2022 when it all started to go wrong. So next month they'll be reconvening for the sentencing. That'll be another long process. Let's just have a look. Something about this woman. I've never heard of this woman before. It's probably a famous case in Australia. So Malka Lifa, 70 sex offence charges laid by Victoria Police, with accusations of at least 8 alleged victims. So Malka Lifa is a dual Israeli-Australian citizen, and she fled to Israeli closed. She had to be extradited. Gosh. Sorry, I'm just going quickly through the Wikipedia. So she's had a criminal case and a civil cases against her. I'm just looking for her. Well, it says there was alleged interference from Israeli officials in this case, which doesn't surprise me. I'm quite anti-Israel, I'm afraid, at the moment. I can't bear the IDF and Netanyahu and these bloody, what do they call them? I'm not talking about being anti-Jewish. I'm talking about being anti-Israel and the Zionist Israelis. It's just, I am anti them. I'm sorry, I am. And I don't know. It looks like a big case. I'd have to look into it a lot more closely. I'm just looking for the actual sentencing. What sentence did they get? Can't find the sentence. But anyway, I will look into that. Because I don't know enough about that case really to comment on it. And I don't know anything about this woman either, Samantha Azzopardi. Let's see what I can find out about her. So this was a scammer, I think. An Australian con artist accused of many instances of conning families and authorities in Australia, Ireland and Canada. She's only got 2 years. So she's a scammer, apparently. So con artist, 2-year sentence, and she's locked up in the same place. Don't know anything about her. So, okay, so I mean, what do you think? I mean, personally, I really do think Simon is still in danger. Because if Erin there was another article that I was looking at actually where it was saying how she said she threatened. Again, don't know if it's true or not, because we can only go by what these people say. Let me have a look if I can find that other article. Yeah. Where is it? So in this other article, again in the it's that same she said that ex-inmate, and she said Erin hates her ex-husband and openly admitted she has made comments about no matter how long she gets in prison, she will kill him, according to this inmate. Now, again, who knows if that's true? That's what she's saying. Is it true? Would she really say that in public? Would she say that in public? And apparently she said in one of those online messages, Simon's mum should be horrified her son is such a deadbeat. And apparently she is truly resentful of Simon. I mean, maybe she is, I don't know, or maybe she isn't. Seems likely that she tried to kill him 3 times. I mean, I think it looks likely that she did try to kill him those other 3 times. If she's been found guilty of this now, then those previous attempts on Simon's life 3 times she's probably guilty of those. But whether she'll ever get charged again for those, because they dropped them, didn't they? So, yeah, and then it's talking again about the mayonnaise. Yeah. So I just think that even though she's in prison, Simon's not safe, in my opinion, because, Erin has, she has a bit of spare cash, doesn't she? And I don't think it costs that much to put a hit on someone if you find someone who's desperate enough. And Erin if she's going to be in prison a long time, she'll definitely be mixing with a lot of unsavoury people, won't she? So it's not beyond the realms of possibility. I mean, I feel for Simon, because I wonder what he thinks about it all. Now I wonder if he'll ever come out and make any statement. I mean, I wonder what his victim impact statement will be, what Ian's victim impact statement will be. At the end of the day, Simon has lost his mum and dad. Not only Simon, because Simon's got a sister as well. I think he might have another brother as well. Not sure if he's got a brother and a sister or just a sister. But yeah, there's other people in that family. They've lost their parents. There's other grandchildren. Yeah, and where are Erin's children now? I wonder if they're with Simon now. He's got a responsibility now to keep those children safe as well. I don't think anyone's safe from Erin. So good for those children, really, that she's been put in prison, because they wouldn't be safe as time went on. You couldn't trust a person like Erin never to do anything to them either, Yeah. Yeah, Dottie, maybe, it would just, if anything happened to Simon, now it'd just be obvious, wouldn't it? That Erin had to, even, Erin, really, Erin better hope that nothing does happen to Simon, because everyone will think it was Erin who did it. Anyway, if somebody else went and poisoned Simon now, everyone would be thinking it was something to do with Erin, whether it was or not, because, yeah, she's been contaminated now by her own notoriety, hasn't she, I suppose? Yeah, be interesting to see what happens with the appeal. I think it'd be crazy to appeal, but Erin is crazy. So, but this part of me, I just think, look out, I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly another story comes out. Like, oh yeah, I did realise that I had foraged those mushrooms, but I was too scared to admit it. I wouldn't be surprised if another version of the truth comes out from Erin. If she does end up appealing, she'd have to come up with it. She can't appeal on what grounds is she going to appeal on as things stand at the moment. It's just going to be the same result. So she'd be crazy to appeal. But if she comes up with a different story or some other, I don't know, some other excuse that she might come out with, I don't see how she can appeal. But that doesn't mean to say she won't, does it? You can't predict what Erin Patterson's going to do, so she'll just do what she thinks in a super intelligent way that isn't real. She's not super intelligent at all. I think she's not exactly David. She did have an out from a total that if she would have said right from the beginning, oh my God, whether it was true or not, oh my God, that must have been those mushrooms that I collected by mistake. She would have had a chance at least, but her lies, that's what did her in. She might not have been on trial for lying, but you can't just keep lying and things come up and then expect the jury to believe your latest version of events. She was almost convicted by her own belief in her super intelligence. Holding that trial in Morwell because she thought that the jury won't be sophisticated enough. They'd believe her lies because they're honest, decent people, not, not cynical people maybe that she might have got on the jury in Melbourne. She thought that they would just fall for it, just like Don, Gail, Ian and Heather did. She was so contemptuous of these nice people. It's just an awful person, really, really awful. And the amount of planning that it took, and the amount of detachment to sit eating a meal with people knowing that you've poisoned that meal. I mean, that's special, isn't it? It's not a crime of passion. It's a crime of spite, underhand, sinister planning. Takes a special sort of twonk. Probably, I think she's a definite candidate for twonk of the year when, at the end of the year, those of you who watch my channel regularly, we have a twonk of the year rundown, 10 people who are just like the worst people of the year. I think Erin's a definite contender for twonk of the year because, when you just think about how sinister what she did was and how cruel, heartless, callous she was in what she did, she's got to be a candidate, hasn't she? Twonk of the year candidate. Having said that, of course, unfortunately, there's lots of twonks. Could be a worse twonk comes up by the end of the year. You just never know, do you? In the true crime world, these twonks are bloody manifold, aren't they? Anyway, so I thought we'd just look at that because I was thinking about Simon and I really feel for him because he's probably thinking, oh God, why did I not see it before? And maybe he could have saved his parents. It's like, when he was ill before, it probably never even occurred to him that it might be Erin trying to kill him. I don't think it's something that would occur to you, is it? I mean, it would now. I've watched enough about this case now. I don't think I'll ever go to dinner with anyone again, especially not and eat mushrooms. You know, it's true. It makes you suspicious, doesn't it? Because you think, God, you know, they weren't suspicious of Erin. They were delighted to be invited. They said it was delicious. You know, they felt for Erin. They prayed for her. Came back, said what a brilliant time they'd had. And all the time they were being slow. They were dead people walking. They were being slowly murdered from the minute they finished off that meal. God, awful, really awful. Slow death, slow agonizing death. You know, horrible woman, Erin Patterson, isn't she? In fact, let's just remember, you know, to me, and then the more I look at this picture, I'm glad I put this together, because that is Erin inside, isn't it? You know, that is her inner personality. You know, on the outside, it's like, I love them, I would never hurt them, I love them. But inside, that's what's going on in her head. That's her true self. You know, we've all got, none of us are perfect, except for me, of course. No, I'm only joking, I'm not perfect, definitely. But I'm not like that. You know, I don't have that evil side in me. I'm not like a saint where I never think anything bad. You know, especially when I'm driving, you know, like you get the, you know, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but that the thought of doing that to somebody, even somebody, you know, who's really done you some damage. I mean, these people have done her no harm, really, have they? Even someone who'd really done you some damage, that would be hard to do that to them, wouldn't it? So, yeah, she's a special sort of twonk, most definitely. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Miss Lee. Yeah. Well, could you imagine it, Jane? It's like, I don't know how to explain it. If you went to someone's house for lunch and you came back and you thought, oh, you're feeling ill, you wouldn't think somebody had tried to poison you, would you, at first? I'd say maybe now I would, because I've been through this case and I've got it in my head. But before this, it wouldn't even occur to you that somebody had deliberately tried to poison you, especially someone that you really, as far as you were concerned, there was nothing wrong with your relationship. You know, just wouldn't occur to you. So, you know, and especially these people, because they were not suspicious people. They're not cynical people. You know, not people that were into true crime like Erin was, or like I am. You know, unfortunately, I've seen so many stories of true crime. It's hard to trust anyone, because when you see what people are capable of, and most people aren't capable of it, you know, most people aren't. And you always have to remember that. You know, probably 99% of people wouldn't dream of doing anything like that. But sometimes you just think, God, what you hear that people are capable of, you can never be surprised, can you? You can never. I mean, I had a bad tummy yesterday, and I was putting it down to the heat, you know, and some tuna that I thought had maybe gone a bit off. But, you know, imagine them finding out that actually somebody had poisoned me deliberately. Just, you know, it'd take a lot, wouldn't it, to, you know, to take that on board. Imagine Simon being, well, we don't know the details, of course. Simon was ill 3 times, and they were saying that she'd attempted to kill him 3 other times, but we don't know the details of how, do we? And talking of which, I'm going to go and have some lunch today. Lunch now, salad. So hot, I don't really feel like it. Oh, it's 31 degrees, it's creeping up. And in the morning, it's about 20, 25 degrees. It's going up now, 31. Later, it'll be 39 degrees, 40 degrees. Anyway, just counting off the days till the end of July. It'll be a little bit better in August. Yeah, the heat makes you feel off most of the time, I think. So you could never tell between, is somebody trying to kill you, or is it just Oh dear. Crazy. It's a crazy world. We talk about a crazy world. It certainly is a crazy world, isn't it? Oh, and something actually, I don't know if I've got time to talk about it now. Did you say, did you say about this Annabelle doll? No, actually, I'm going to do a separate video for it because it doesn't really go with this. You know, I've got a little bit of interest in the paranormal. Yeah. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, thank you so much. Let me put on my, don't forget to like and subscribe. If I put my banner up, oh, it comes up, I think, on the thing. I can feel my head going now because it's starting to get really hot. My head starts to go. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much. See you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Bye.